Hi, Adrienne. Who else do we have? Jen Masar, welcome. Hi, Jen. Welcome. Well, maybe should we get started? We'll let some other people join as they come in. I see, oh, Sam's on. So fun to see some old faces and familiar faces,
Your
loyal
faces look
faces.
young and fresh. They're not old faces. They're just old friends,
You bet.
familiar faces, but you look great.
So, so fun. Hi, Sam. Welcome. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
We're not really sure how to start, to be honest. Hi, Adrian. Thank you all so much for joining and to carving out this awesome hour for us to all be together. Um, I think the theme that came to me in the shower this morning is listen and leap. And we're going to kind of unpack that today um, as you saw in our note that today is our last awesome hour as the three of us are going to go different directions as we kind of start to wind down plenty. Um, this summer, we have some continued clients to serve and support through August. So Jeff and I will be doing that. Today is Sierra's last day with us. She's worked with us and me in particular for 12 years. So we've had such a privilege to get to call each other family and be part of the Plenty family together. And it's just been so, so special and probably like just what you would wish for in a personal and professional relationship, helping each other grow and blossom and live and lead. So today is also the last day of HeartSpace. So been doing a lot of clean out. Um, It's been beautiful. It's been hard. It's been a lot of like letting go of stuff, letting go of beautiful, energetic frequency and love that you all put on those walls um, several times for many of you. Just such a loving, healing space. So today or tomorrow, I'm going to go back over and decord and bless and smudge, which I did several times through the process, but your faces have been up on those walls for years, and your energetic heart and imprint has made it what it's been to be this like sacred space for so many to heal and to awaken to their call, to their truth, to their light. So I know that's where the three of us want to come from is just thank you so much for joining the journey with us, choosing yourselves, even though when you didn't really know for many of you what Lantern was or what a workshop was or what working with us would be like. But we have created such a family of friendship, of relationship, of love and awakening as part of your commitment to choose yourself and to trust us to guide you on that journey. So I just want to say thank you for all the love and all the teaching and all the learning that you've given us. And hopefully, we'll continue to be very active and present in your lives. Um, I think the other thing I just want to open up with in this theme of leap and listen and leap before I let Jeff and Sierra get a word in is I think you know this about the three of us is this deep commitment to practice what we preach. And that congruency gap kind of ebbs and flows, right? As we give ourselves permission to be human and messy and fuck up and like wish you did things differently or just the learning of growth of what it's like to be human. But part of leading with light, as you know, and part of our work has really been to activate awareness and to listen and to learn, how does your soul speak to you? How does your truth, your compass, your guidance, like how do you know when you're on or off? Or how do you know when something lands? And for me, earlier in the year, I found myself, I don't know, maybe 8 weeks into some psychic training. And what that means is basically deepening awareness of other realms, of what you can't see. But we all have this gift of intuition, of being able to tap into other forces that are not necessarily physical. And also learning the limitations of mind, of intellect, that part of me that wants to know, understand, make all that connection and justify. And part of that practice started to open up my field even further, to look at and be able to see that the call that I have, the soul's call, um, it's here to help awaken the consciousness of people on the planet. And what downloaded was this urgency and imperative to do that more fully and to do that more focused. Um, and so that led on a journey of conversations of what would that look like, and how how could we continue that within plenty or not? And through many discussions, it just has felt like that that expression of where Jeff wants to lean further in and where Sierra wants to and where I want to, they're not under the same umbrella, um, for plenty today. So a little bit of context, that's kind of where I'm coming from, is listening and leaping, having that courage to listen to that, not that awareness that life is short. And what we've hopefully modeled with you all is to listen so deeply to the light within to guide the way, and to trust that when we make those decisions, it's also for the highest and greatest good of all involved. And that even if it's muddy or not clear, that the universe and the higher light, whatever you name that to be, will show us the breadcrumbs, or will present the bridge, the Indiana Jones bridge that has happened at HeartSpace. It's happened in all of our past, of the path will appear when we leap. So for me, knowing comes as a full body clairsentience. I don't necessarily see things, but I get a overwhelming full body knowing, and we'll be taking that forward into continued exploration. So I'll say more about that later, but maybe that's a frame of um, the importance of listening to your heart, even if it doesn't make sense. And we all have those moments in our lifetime where we've learned so much and have to listen to that call, even if we don't quite understand it. So, um, more to say, but I will pause to let Jeff and Sierra get in a word.
Lovely. And surprise to everyone who wasn't sure what they were expecting when they saw a little note on the email saying this is our last awesome hour. Um, really appreciate you being here. And for some of you, um, seeing you again after not seeing you for a long time. And for others of you, I really appreciate your ongoing support and continued friendship and all of that. Um, yeah, I don't have much to add. I guess the theme that is in my mind is the theme of commencement. It's that time of year. All of my kids are home from school. There's graduation parties filling up the calendar. There's a lot of nervous anxiety, and there's a lot of excitement and fresh faces, and it just feels like that's part of spring. It's part of the cycle that we all grew up in, is that spring is about new beginnings, and commencement doesn't really mean leaving behind. It means walking forward. So this is not a conversation I necessarily thought we would be having with all of you or internally to Plenty. And at the same time, as we've had it, I guess, Jen, to your point, it's felt more and more natural. And one of the things Jen likes to say at Lantern is once you see something a certain way, you can't unsee it. And I do feel like that's been my last couple months. Since we finally got to this point, I guess in mid-March is now I see all around, what Jen's huge talents are and what she's being called into. And I think it's at times it's been more foggy for me. And so being comfortable just kind of walking through the fog and taking step by step and letting the next things emerge and letting them call to me as much as I am walking towards things. So I'll stop there. It's been such a privilege to grow with you. And I really do feel like that's how we look at the work we've done. We have learned so much from the people on this phone and the thousands of other people we've been fortunate enough to spend a little bit of time with. And, I'm old enough, I think we're all old enough to know just how precious that time is and how little of it we have. And so you hope that you get to spend it, in community with people who are just incredible people. And we have done that. And I'm so grateful for all of you and grateful for the chance I've had to learn from you and about you, and grateful that even on a Friday afternoon in the spring when it's lovely out, you're taking a little bit of time to hear us talk about ourselves. It's really amazing. So thank you to all of you, and most of all, thank you to Jen and Sierra, and thank you. We've invoked HeartSpace. I want to invoke the beautiful brand that is Plenty and the promise and the vision of that idea that there is a world of plenty for everyone, and that idea lives on in my heart and soul. And it's not a world that we live in; it's a world that we have to create. You know, so that's the blessing and the curse of everyone who's conscious, everyone who's an idealist, is that we don't get the world that we want. We get the dream that we want to see, and we get to work towards it together. So I will commence with Plenty in my heart space, and I look forward to keeping that dream and that vision alive in the work that I get to do with people like all of you. Um, Hayes, this is the last time I get to say Hayes. What do you got?
The last time I have to try to follow the two of you up and what you said so beautifully. So ditto to that, to what you both shared, and just feeling really grateful for all of you on the phone, and feels like no better time in the present to be practicing what I've learned from Plenty and from Lantern and from all of you, and find myself when things feel hard or scary, thinking about the times that we've had together, and especially at our Lantern retreats and the opportunity I've gotten to get to know each of you on the phone so well. So really grateful for that and excited for what's next. But practicing, that's what I'm going to be doing. A lot of practice.
Lovely. More to say, but we want to just open it up. One of the intentions of Awesome Hour was like this open Q&A conversation that we get to co-create together. So maybe before we share more, anybody want to ask a question or share anything?
I'll go. Hi,
Tara,
everybody. I
love
know
you.
some of you. Um, uh, I've already shared this with Jeff and Jennifer once, but I think it bears repeating, and I want to add to it. Before meeting Plenty, before being a part of this, um, there were just so many things that I could go on and on about. But um, you know, I really struggled with loss, with things changing, relationships ending, people dying, jobs changing, you know, change and loss. And I would, when things were right, I would be crippled with anxiety because I'd be scared that it was gonna go away. Like I knew that it wouldn't last, like that everything ends. And it's been through the work with Plenty that I've come to this place of immense peace about that, about the fact that nothing lasts forever, and that that's 100% okay, and that it should be expected, and that it also means you get to be excited about what comes next, and that what comes next might even be better. Um, and to be more present in the moment, to truly lean into and appreciate what is, because what is will not always be, right? And so pre-Plenty, if I was receiving this news, I'd be really upset. Um, and I am sad, right? There's a part of me that wants Plenty to continue, right? For all kinds of reasons. But what's been the overriding emotion for me is just deep gratitude, that I got to be a part of it while it was, you know, that and what it has meant for me, and what Jen and Jeff and Sierra, what you three have done for me, and what HeartSpace, and I'm wearing one of my HeartSpace shirts today, what
I see
HeartSpace
that.
has meant for me, and how that's changed my life. And so I'm deeply, deeply grateful for that. Um, and so thank you, thank you, thank you to the three of you, to Plenty, to HeartSpace. Thank you even to the way you've been delivering this news to some of us and to this group, and to like so even just the way you're telling us that Plenty is going to be no more. I mean, you should write a training on how parents tell kids they're getting divorced, because it's exactly the right way to do it. So just yeah, deeply grateful and so friggin' excited to see what the three of you do and where you go and what you do. And I hope to be connected to that in any way that makes sense.
Thank you. That means the world. So appreciate you and all of you.
Derek, you said it so well. I don't know, I don't know what else to say, but I really do just have to like express like the same feeling of gratitude for all three of you and for HeartSpace. I think you both, all of you, model so well, you know, what you have brought to all of us in terms of, you know, Lantern and just the way that you always live what you talk about and what you make us have helped us be a part of. And so I know that that community and that connection isn't going to change. I mean, it'll change, but it'll still be there for all of us. And you know, Sierra, um, what you said about you know, in those hard times, I can't remember exactly how you said it, but like in those tough times, just, you know, remembering those moments and the community at HeartSpace, you know, I also lean on that, and I'm just so grateful for that and for those reminders and those tools and the memories. So I'm really excited for all of you to see what's next, and you know, again, like just you're such great examples of following and listening to what is right for you. So thank you.
Thanks, Jen. I think one of the things that's just so will continue to leave us in awe and hopefully inspire us to continue, all of us, this possibility is the idea that strangers can come together and in such a short period of time become so close and see the light within each other, like different backgrounds, different homes, different political leanings, different skin color, different genders, different family bringings, different trauma, different, like all of it, that I think you all taught us so much around. You've heard me say this a gazillion times, but I really wish we had that camera, that video that could, measure the before and after, the auric field of like the light being turned on. And then it doesn't, like, it's not that it doesn't go dim and get brighter. And we all have that, right? We all have that human journey. But like to see that in you absolutely reflected that light back in us of what's possible, um, in terms of awakening and seeing that like in such a short period of time. And you've gifted us that. I mean, Jen, you came to Lumeria. I remember that was like training wheels years ago. It was just so funny and wonderful to witness that light in each one of you turn on and magnify that, helps us magnify it in ourselves.
Yeah, I'm just gonna add, I mean, you some of you know me enough to know like this kind of setting makes me incredibly uncomfortable. So I'm gonna say what I often said at the end of Lantern, which is, if heart space was welcoming to you or nourishing or comforting or enabled growth, that not to say that heart space isn't special and plenty isn't special and Sierra Jen and I aren't special, but that comes from you. That comes from what's inside of you. And so, and Derek and Jen specifically, having known you a long time and having had the chance to, having you have trusted us with the chance to see you at different slices in your lives. Um, I so appreciate what you're saying, and I have no doubt that you each would have found some other way to get this growth that you're talking about. And so I appreciate that we've been a part of it. And I want to just hold up that mirror like we did at the end of Lantern and let you look at yourself and admire yourself. And I really, that's one thing I would leave everybody with, and that I'm taking from you is having that awkward moment to look at yourself and say, okay, wow, I did something well here. So um not going to let you take the credit away from yourself.
In the space of silence, maybe I'll just offer this as well. I think I love the term that you applied, Jeff, of commencement and just graduation and moving forward. In my belief system, not to say you have to take this on, um, this in numerology, 2025 is a 9 year, and nines represent endings, the completions of chapters to make room for the new. And it coincides with the Chinese medicine's belief system that this is the year of the snake. And the snake has this medicine, and the medicine is shedding. The snake actually can eat stuff we can't, that would be poison to us. It can transmute and it can transform. That's the power medicine of snake. And I learned something about the snake that if it doesn't shed its skin, it will die because of the poisons that happen. It actually is required for its life cycle to shed. And we're designed in a not so dissimilar way in that if you study neuroscience and quantum physics and the cellular biology, our cells are regenerating. Um, I can't really remember the time frame, but it's like I think it's like within 36 hours, or it might be in a few days, like our entire cellular system turns over. And so it's like this incredible surrendering into nature's cycle of what you're talking about, Derek, about change, right? Like change feels more macro, but when you think of the cycles that in order for change to occur, things change form. That's what transform means. It's like changing form. And so part of awakening, which in my belief is this grand invitation that we have right now, if we are awake and alive in a human body, we get to create a world that we wish to see and be. And that is not going to happen from government. It's not going to happen from education. It's not going to happen from society. It's going to happen because we get to choose to be that, to change within ourselves. And I definitely wish that there was instructions of what that looked like, or it would feel a lot easier if somebody told us what to do in order to be the best version of ourselves, or to talk to a psychic in my example and say, tell me what my soul's path is, like, why am I here? That would be a lot easier. And I've done that a gazillion times for decades. But what's being called forth is this deep listening to the craving of what we wish to see and be, the deep listening to what comes naturally to us with no effort, with ease, the deep listening to our knowing that something is pulling us or that something has come to its time. And each one of us has different flavors of that. I really believe this year things are surfacing for us to see and then choose. And there's a lot of support for us to choose ourselves. And when we do, to know that that's not selfish, that the loved ones, the relationships that we are living this life with will get the best of us if they're meant to be. And things will spin in and spin out. But the more we listen inside of ourselves, the more we will hear the call and hear the synchronicity and symphony of support that's outside of ourselves. And my hope is that as we deepen that practice for ourselves in such uncharted territory, that you feel supported and equally invited and inspired to do the same for you. The three of us have always been idealists and optimists of seeing a better world, and it's just our lens. And there's no better time to really check yourself on what you're feeding and access that power that you have, that we have, to say, wow, could this be the next best chapter of my entire life? That whatever happens, I'm going to be the best version of myself. And I know that we are better people because we have come in contact with you. And more than that, that you've opened your heart and your vulnerable underbelly as you shedded the skin of these older versions of what you chose to outgrow and leave behind. That fed, that reciprocity of like fed our souls to give us the courage to do and to be who we are. So that just occurs to me because it feels really alive and ripe in terms of courage right now. That Latin word of giving heart, and that we can collectively create and offer heart space wherever we choose to go. And for me, that was an awakening. That was like an invitation of, oh, yes, this space in physical form can release, because my intention is to bring heart space wherever I go. And the idea of doing retreats globally is super exciting to me, that it doesn't have to just be in one physical place. And I think that's what Jeff was sharing, and it's the practice of leaning into that, that wherever you are and wherever you want to be, that you get to create that space that works for you, that feels so fucking good. And you don't have to settle for it to be any other less. So, for what it's worth, thank you. We have a very quiet group. Anybody else want to share anything?
I have to give a special shout out to Susan Hadley. I'm just gonna call you out. Thanks for being so supportive. I mean, honestly,
This is my mom, everybody.
of Jennifer, but of me too. I just thank you so much, Susan. There's no words. And I'm gonna out you quickly to everyone. This is someone who now sends me a note on my birthday and will send me a Christmas card. And you've just gone all in supporting your daughter, and I was so grateful to be caught in that. So caught in your net. It's a great place to be. So thank you. And I'm so glad to see you here. And I hope we keep in touch. And you're on mute, which is also classic.
Hold on. There we go. Thank you. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, good. Well, thank you very much, Jeff. And Jennifer both. I certainly salute all three of you for the modeling of courage and to honor your intuition and to follow your new paths. I am excited for each of you individually and collectively, and I've been so grateful to be part of Plenty over many years, watching the growth. And of course, I'm still emotional, as I always am. But just so proud of each and one of you. You've given so much to so many people, and it's been a privilege watching your individual growth. And I applaud you and wish each of you only the very best. Thank you.
Thanks, Mom. My biggest supporter. And the mantra that I've passed down because of you is that I think is wonderful to share is the idea that you can do anything you put your heart and mind to, and that the heart leads the way. And so that is one of the greatest gifts I've heard and seen modeled. So thank you for your unconditional love and support and for showing up today as you always do.
Of course. Thank you, and you're welcome.
So I think what you're going to see over time, just to maybe share, Jeff and I are going to be in Seattle on next week up to Fred Hutch Cancer Center. And then we are working with the Immune Deficiency Foundation in Baltimore, Maryland in June and July. And in the meantime, exploring kind of what these paths are. Sierra will likely have news to share as to what she's doing next whenever you're ready to share that. I will be spinning up jennifermulholland.com, and for now, kind of leaning into continued coaching and doing soul immersions and retreats in the field of helping people really access their soul's purpose and living on purpose, activating their light, with retreats in hopefully cool places and beautiful places and spaces, and just being open to, I don't know, what that all looks like. And Jeff, I will let you share kind of where you're leaning in your own way. Um, but like you'll start to see us, and we really want to stay connected. So this is not a goodbye, it's just a different form of maybe how we'll be engaging over the summer months and into the fall. And the three of us are equally so interested in you and how we can continue to be in relationship, be in friendship, be in support of your growth in your work and in your life in whatever way that looks like. So we are actively listening and opening to what that feels like, what that sounds like, and just invite you to stay in touch with us. And if you do need support in any way, to think of us, and we'll meet you where you are and explore what that looks like. And as we get clear too about, I think, where our paths are leaning.
Yeah, I guess I'd tag onto that and say I think what you're going to see in the short term is less of us. If you've been on our website, you can see we just did a massive spring cleaning as we move to a platform that can just be much simpler. And I would think in the next couple months, there's going to be something public on the site that says we're no longer accepting clients. We kind of have to talk through that, but that is what we have talked to our current clients about, and IDF is probably the last engagement we're going to take in that form. There's some mop up to do with a lot of people that we care about, are all of our Lantern graduates, and so I think you're going to hear some formal messages from us, and then you might hear less from us for a bit. And it doesn't mean we don't care. It doesn't mean we're not dreaming up what's next for all of us. It just means sometimes those plans need a little shelter, you know. Um, some of you know that long ago I was a professional starving artist, as I like to describe it. And one of the things I learned is the quickest way to make sure I never completed a song was to share it too early. And um see, Jen's already off doing her next thing. She just left. So she's moving a little quicker than I am. No, just a joke. So I do think it's fair to say I know that's where I'm at is I have I think pretty good idea of what's next, and I also it's a little fragile flower at this point, so I'm gonna just give it a little private space to build some momentum and give it a little room to grow, and then I can't wait to share, what that turns out to be when I think it's ready to stand on its own 2 feet. But so at least from my point, you might hear less for a little bit, but that just means the dream works are moving. So, and just say exactly what you just said, Jen. Really hope to stay in touch with everybody and hope that in what we're all doing, not just what Jen and I are doing, what you're all doing too. There's a lot of great work happening on this call that there's lots of ways for all of that to intersect in the future, and I look forward to that. Jen, I joked that you were already off to do your next thing there for a second.
Yeah, Christian's on a conference call, so I'm like, can you shut your door? I can't hear. No, not
Thank you,
quite that
Sam.
fast.
Well, it wouldn't be a plenty session if I didn't disagree with something. So, Jeff,
Here,
you know,
all right,
Jeff,
Derek, what did I say?
Yeah,
this
well,
time, this
here it
time it was
comes.
Jeff.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. No, he always disagrees with me. But I
Um,
think I think one point you described working with plenty. I think it was literally something like Jen is this angelic presence, and there's Jeff, and that's like how it.
Yeah, I think I compared you to a comfortable couch
Or
too.
no, you said like the Midwest dad.
Yeah,
This is like
yeah,
a knife in
Comfortable
his.
couch,
yeah,
Midwest dad,
yeah, yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
just the first name. Jen's this incredible being from heaven. And Jeff's the comfortable couch.
Um, I will accept that our light and greatness is inside of us and that we could have found it potentially without plenty. However, no amount of religion or therapy had helped me get to where I'm at today. It was you all that helped me get to where I am today. And so while I hope that's true, that I would have found my way to where I'm at without you, and yes, the things were there for me to find, it was your guidance that got me there. And so I just wanted to take issue with that.
And right back at you. Thank you for saying that, brother. And right back at you. As iron sharpens iron.
And just so everyone understands the couch reference, Jen, if always says something that I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Right? And pushes me to a place that I've never been before. And it can be very, very scary. And then Jeff is just, it's like that comforting sweet spot that like brings me back to a place where I'm like, okay, now I know. Now
Okay, that's a
it
better
feels
way
like,
to say it. Yeah,
and
I like
so
that.
it was a perfect dynamic for me because if it were just Jen, I would have been scared all the time. But you have to be scared to grow, right? And so having that, like those two, it worked for me.
Okay, we finally got the quote we want for the website. Let's grab that,
Oh,
Sierra.
come on. Derek's given us a lot of quotes. I think the one theme or one thread I just love to pull on that is for myself and for all of us is the more open we can be and the less attached to ideas and beliefs, the more we'll grow and we'll grow with more ease and more expansion and more speed. I think you have like your growth, Derek, and your skepticism or your, you know, ideas about yourself and about the world has just expanded in such a beautiful container that's made room for the peace at which you lead today. Like had had you not had that openness and trust of us that we weren't trying to lead you down any dark alley to, that was possible within you. And I think that's a trick that, not a trick, I think a practice even right now. Like I feel like I'm super open and I find myself at times really locking into certain beliefs that take you down a path of one reality. And the more open we can be and trusting, I think it's like the dichotomy of like being as open as possible so your awareness is taking in as much as it could from different perspectives without attachment, without grip, and then noticing when you get the grip, when you get triggered, when it like all of a sudden we have like 80,000 thoughts and then we like latch onto something, we digest it and we get the grip that says no, I don't buy this. I don't believe this. This is not in resonance. It's not in alignment with who I want to be or who I am or what I believe. And finding that dance and the delicacy in the grip of holding those two positions of full, like open-hearted, open awareness to allow as much to come in to see things from different, not just see, sense and see and feel different information coming into your field. More and more is coming, and it's coming at a quicker rate. And also having such like connection to your inner light that you're inner guided, that when it comes through, you're able to say, does this resonate for me? does this feel good? Do I see flow here? Do I want to follow forward? Do I lean in? And all those things that we talked about at Lantern about navigating the path is ripe right now for all of us. And I really believe, Derek, and all of you, that you wouldn't have found resonance had you not been open. And so really encourage you to continue the opening to whatever that is for you, your field, information, different beliefs, looking for the light in others, questioning your stance, but staying so fucking true to who you are and who you've always been. And that's, I think, the conundrum, right? That it's not linear, and we can't tell you what that looks like for you, and you can't tell that for us. So, but I think what's exciting is I trust and know that we're on that journey together to share and to learn, and hopefully that will always continue for days and weeks and years to come.
And I'll give you another piece of that that I think really perfectly illustrates kind of the next paths for Jen and for me, and where we are both being called. I think even as you do that work that Jen's speaking to and become more attuned to what's higher for you and what's not of this earth and what's not of physical form, and that what is spiritually true through any kind of existence. I also encourage you to remember that for whatever reason, we're being put here and now, and there's people all around us who look like our opponents, and they're not. They look like they're our adversaries and they're friends in waiting. They look like they're pushing against us and they're teaching us, and that we can't. I could never be more supportive of the message that Jen just gave, that like ultimately healing is already within us and it's a spiritual journey. And as you find it, share it, because the world needs it, and there's people all around us who are in despair. And if we have a way to change that, I think part of the reason that we're here now is to help other people unlock. Some of you were there at the earlier lanterns when we used to do the leadership tap. And we used to say, once you've seen the light, don't let other people sit in the dark. And I know you all have so much to offer to the people around you because we've benefited from it. So I hope you continue to share it in the way that only you can.
Well, it feels like that's good for now. Um, I can't thank Jeff and Sierra enough. I think what we've created is really special, and this process this year has been the most loving, respectful, kind, supportive um, process that I'm super fucking proud of how the three of us have treated each other and will continue to as family. And that ripple extends to all of you, and really consider you our family as well, regardless of whether it's under any brand name, but human to human, heart to heart, and light to light, most importantly. And so may we all go forward, really being illuminated and aligned to the light that we are, so we can bring that to the world. Our hope is that you always remember that you are light and that your light has a purpose. Your light is worth it. Your light is needed. As Jeff liked to say, your light matters. And that we will always have your back wherever you choose to show up. So call us, text us, and we will be in touch, and we hope that you will be too. But love you dearly. Thanks so much for making the time today, and wishing you so much ease and flow and joy and abundance and plenty for everyone, as you embark on your days to come.
Catch you on the flip side, people. Stay tuned.
Love you guys
Amen.
and gals. Thank you.
Bye. Bye for
Thank
now.
you.
Bye for
Thank
now.
you. Well done.
Thanks, Mom. Bye,
Love,
Michael.
love you guys. You're a great team. We'll miss you.
Thanks, Mom.